Hi, how are you? My name is Houston and welcome back to another video. We got a brand new season, the first season of Black Ops 6. So obviously we're going to be getting into that today. Also touching on maybe a heavy subject, but one that I think is very important. Something that I've been thinking about a lot the past 2 weeks because of a big event that happened in my life. Also, really quick, I just want to say that I did start a new channel specifically for running. I'm still going to talk about my fitness and all that stuff on this channel, but the other channel is no commentary. It's more just POV videos of me running. So around Seattle, wherever I might vacation to, some trails that I happen to go on. We're in a beautiful season right now. The leaves are falling and winter's coming up. So you can expect some snow trail running videos soon. I'm looking forward to making those. If you're into those sort of videos that are like POV, ASMR, unedited, that sort of thing, then the link to that channel and the first upload will be in the description. So thank you. I just did a fresh reinstall on the game because I'm running out of space on my C drive, and I tried to download it on a hard drive, and then when I started it, it took like, and I'm not joking, probably like a full minute to 2 minutes to start up. So I said, okay, we're not doing that. So I uninstalled it on that, and then I reinstalled it on my C drive again after like going through and deleting a bunch of stuff to make room. 95 gigs is a lot for a game, but we can be grateful that it's not as big as it used to be. Wasn't it at like 1.220 gigs or something like that? Just ridiculous, just an unheard of file size. I got the AK-74U or whatever it's called. It looks like one, gold, and now we're working on the Tonto. I'm realizing that this is going to be a slow process. I do not play games as much as I used to. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that I live with my girlfriend now, which I'm incredibly grateful for, and I'm so lucky to have her. But one thing that I didn't realize at the time when we moved in together, or just started sharing our lives together, is how much less time I would just be like cooped up at my desk in my office. Again, nothing wrong with that. That's part of, experiencing the journey of life together with somebody. You can't always be by yourself playing video games in your office. I mean, maybe if this was my job, yeah, I would dedicate like probably 8 to 10 hours to it every single day. But as it stands, I dedicate 8 to 10 hours to being at work, including my commute every day. So I only have a couple hours like every other day to play this and to edit a video and, just do everything that's involved with making YouTube videos or just making content in general. So what I was referencing in the intro is that about 2 weeks ago, my dad's brother, one of them at least, one of my uncles, he passed away. And obviously everything involved with death is very tricky. It's very heavy for every single person involved, and we all respond differently to it. My uncle really was a great guy. I can't think of any time when him and I interacted with each other, and we didn't see each other a lot, but whenever we did, he was always really full of life, and he was pretty much always laughing. Like, he always had a really good attitude no matter how he felt. I don't think I ever saw him yell at anyone. So while I didn't really know him all that well, like I said, the interactions that I did have with him, I think that they left a mark on me, but I never really thought about that before he passed away. After, when I was talking to my dad about it, I was kind of like wondering, well, he's your brother, so like what are the things that you remember him by? Like, how do you think of your brother? And I don't think it's my place to overshare details, but after talking to him, I think that he realized a lot of stuff that was along the same path as that. A big thing that I was thinking of with him passing away was just the quality of one's life and how people remember you, and not in a way that makes you need to get remembered because, you have to be famous or you have to be remembered in a glorified way, but to be remembered by the people who loved you, and to think about how much of an impact you can have on their life, not just when you're gone, but while you're still here. You should know by now on this channel that I think and talk about gratitude a lot. And I think one thing that falls in line with gratitude is realizing how lucky A lot of us are. There's a lot that's out of our control, but what is in our control a lot of the time is something like showing up. If you're lucky enough to have a family that you can show up for, like the last time I saw my uncle was at a family barbecue that I almost didn't go to. And I went there, and this was probably like, I don't know, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And him and his wife happened to be there. So it was nice to be able to talk to him, because I hadn't talked to him in quite a long time. And then obviously 3 months later, he's gone. But before that moment, before that barbecue, I think it had been years since I saw him. And things like that are always a really big reminder on how to shift your perspective. It is possible to have that stuff at the front of your mind all the time, but like with many things similar to it, it is a meditation. It's a practice. You have to be very mindful of when you are not in that state of gratitude, or that state of realizing how lucky you are. Unfortunately, it's so easy for our brains to hyperfixate on the most negative portions of whatever the situation is. It's a bit convoluted, but my main point here is that if you're lucky enough to have a family that you can show up for, extended family, intermediate family, like any of these people, you know, try and take as many opportunities as you can to show up for them. Or maybe showing up with them is what I mean, more than showing up for them. For them kind of makes it sound transactional, and you should show up for the people that you love, the people in your life. But what I'm talking about right now is just being someone who realizes in the moment that, yeah, this could be the last time that you see someone. And that could be with someone like an uncle or a grandparent, or somebody that you just don't see very often. Obviously, you want to do this with as many people as you can without overburdening yourself, but it's so important to especially do this with, you know, like your siblings, your partner, your kids, all these people that you spend the most time with. On the Waking Up app, which I've talked about before on this channel, there's this great meditation called The Last Time. I'm someone who's like, yeah, and I think most people are probably like this, but yeah, dude, no shit, it could be the last time you see someone. But one thing that really made it sink in for me is that this person was talking about the last time in reference to the last time that their kid said a word wrong. I think it was animals. They would say aminals before they could really say it correctly, and they said it over and over and over again, like aminals over, you know, however long. And then they finally said animals, and something like that, which seems very trite. It's a very concrete reminder of especially how fast kids grow up, but just like how fast things change. Or like the last time your kid crawls, or the last time your kid wobbles when they walk. What about the last time you did something that you really love to do? Like, I used to skateboard a ton when I was a kid. Like, for like 7-8 years, I went to a camp where I got to skate with pros and all that, and skateboarding was literally my life. The last time that I got on a skateboard was when somebody bet me that I couldn't do a kickflip. I got it, by the way. Easiest 20 bucks I ever made in my life. Before that, I don't know the last time I was on a skateboard. And it's funny too, because the last time you do something like that, you don't know in that moment that it's going to be the last time. And in that same way, you don't know when the last time that you could be with someone you love is. If you're someone who has a little bit of time to think about this sort of stuff, then it's very much worth thinking about. It's hard to emphasize this kind of stuff if you're someone who is living paycheck to paycheck, or can barely afford rent, or is struggling to survive. So I'm not going to be someone who is telling someone who's struggling to survive to be like, hey man, you know, you should be more grateful, because I think that can be a little bit out of touch sometimes. But I will say that it's almost guaranteed that you should be able to think about this stuff if you have time to watch a YouTube video. I'm so lucky to be able to even have time to think about this kind of stuff. I'm so lucky to be able to have the opportunity to make a YouTube video. One of the worst things that ever happened to me was getting T-boned by a drunk driver when I was 15. And while that was a horrible event, now, like about 15 years later, I can look back at it and I can be appreciative of how lucky I am to be able to drive the nice car that I have, or be able to still have like a functioning brain, because to almost die during like such important development years, and to come out and still like not have a learning disability, or not have my life gravely affected in some way that I can't even imagine, because I'm not a doctor, I don't understand that stuff. That's very, very fortunate. To take a very tangible and material example, I was able to use some of the money I got after the accident to buy a nice car for myself when I turned 18. And because of that, I was able to trade up in quality and price and all that stuff over the years. But that's only because I had that amount of money to buy that car in the first place. So it set me up on a baseline that I would have never been at if it wasn't for that accident. So there can be a lot of luck and a lot of things to find in even the most unfortunate times. Again, I'm very lucky that I was able to look back and think about a dark period of my life and come out of it with positives. Well, for a long time, I couldn't, because it's very hard to do that stuff in the moment if you're not trained. And I wasn't a meditator when I was 15, 16. So when I think about the passing of my uncle, and I'm more aware of my thought processes around these sort of things these days, I really just think about how lucky I am to have known him, and to be able to take away the positive fact that he did live a good life. I mean, he was like 77 years old, and he was always smiling, always happy. And it's really tough when this kind of stuff happens. A lot of the time we don't know what to say. We don't know how to react. We don't know how to console people. But I think that the worst thing you can do is never say anything. So maybe this is part of my way of coping in a way that's personal to me. And that's totally okay. I mean, everybody has their way of going about things. So if something like this happening can help me show up for the people in my life better and in a more positive way, then overall, that's what's going to help me make a positive impact on the people in my life. Death is tough, and the inevitable fact of it is that it's never going to get easier, and it's always going to happen. You know, none of us sign up to be here, to be brought into this world, but it's a guarantee that at some point we are all going to leave it. While that is pretty uncomfortable to a certain point, the more that you can let go of the anxiety around the inevitability of it, and use that inevitability to force you to live in a better way, live for the people that you're closest to, and live in a way that allows you to be a good ancestor, I think that that is going to bring a lot more joy and meaning to your life, however you define those things. So I'm very lucky to be sitting here. I'm very lucky to be able to have the things that I have and be with the people that I'm with. And the fact of the matter is that life is tough, and a lot of the time that toughness makes us forget that stuff. Makes us forget how lucky we are. As always, thank you so much. I'm very grateful to anybody that takes time out of their day to watch any one of my videos. It really does mean the world to me. Try and take some time. You don't have to do it right now, but maybe soon, to think about how lucky you might be. Because I think a lot of things probably fly under the radar for a lot of people, myself included. So yeah, take it easy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.